We spend a massive chunk of our lives navigating these digital worlds. But have you ever really stopped to think about how all that screen time affects our minds? Today, we're going to dive into something called biophilic web design. It's this fascinating idea that we can use our built-in connection to nature to create digital experiences that are just better and more human.
Oh, you know the feeling I'm talking about. That kind of low-grade tension behind your eyes after hours of just scrolling and clicking and processing endless information on glowing screens. It's this weird kind of exhaustion that feels deeper than just being tired. And there's actually a great name for it: cognitive friction. See, our brains are wired for the natural world, with all its patterns and organic shapes, but so many of our digital spaces are built on these rigid logical grids, and that gap, that disconnect, creates a kind of mental friction that just wears us down. And that really brings us to the big question, right? What if we could actually close that gap? What if we could design websites and apps to work with our brains instead of fighting against them? And this isn't just about making things look pretty. It's about making them feel right. To figure that out, we've got to look at this really powerful, ancient force that's basically baked into the DNA of every single one of us.
Yeah, the term for it is biophilia, and it comes from the biologist E.O. Wilson. It's the key to this whole thing. Biophilia isn't just about liking nature. It's a deep, hardwired need to connect with the living world. It's the reason why just having a view of a park from your office window can literally change your entire day.
So that's the big puzzle, isn't it? How do we take this incredibly profound human need and translate it into pixels and code? Can the same things that make a walk in the woods feel so calming be used to design a better website? Well, the answer is a big yes. So let's get into the specifics of how designers are actually taking this ancient human pull and making it work in our modern digital world. All right, so it really boils down to three main ways to do this. First up, you've got direct experience. This is the most obvious one, right? Using a beautiful, high-quality video of a forest or a picture of the ocean. Then there's indirect experience, which is a bit more subtle, using things that remind us of nature, like earthy colors, natural textures, or curvy organic shapes. And finally, there's experience of space and place. This one's about layout, creating a feeling of openness while also making you feel safe and secure, kind of like having a great vantage point from a cozy spot. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how, but now for the really cool part, the why. What does all of this actually do to our brains? I mean, really think about this for a second. One is a beautiful forest on your screen. The other is a complicated spreadsheet. At the end of the day, they're both just a bunch of pixels, so why does one make us feel calm and the other just makes us want to close the tab immediately? Well, that brings us to the first huge benefit: stress reduction. And this is backed by science. Studies have shown that even just looking at a picture of nature can actually lower our cortisol levels. That's our main stress hormone. So by using these calming colors and uncluttered layouts, biophilic design literally lowers our mental workload. Okay, this next one is really fascinating. It's not just about chilling out. How on earth can a pattern that looks like a leaf or a snowflake actually help you concentrate better on a block of text? The answer has this amazing name: attention restoration theory. The part of our brain that does heavy-duty focusing, our directed attention, gets tired out. But natural patterns offer something called soft fascination. They grab our attention, but in a really gentle, effortless way. It's not demanding. And that little mental break lets our focused attention recharge, which helps us fight off that mental fatigue. All right, this might sound a little out there, but can a website's design literally make you feel happier?
You bet it can. When an interface just feels nice to look at, when it's harmonious and easy on the eyes, it just creates a better, more pleasant experience. And that good feeling, it doesn't just stop there. We subconsciously start to associate that positive vibe with the brand or the organization behind the website.
Okay, let's push this idea even further. So we've got less stress, better focus, a better mood. But could this stuff actually help us think more clearly? So the direct research here is still growing, but the logic is super solid. Think about it. If you're less stressed and more focused, your brain is just in a much better state to tackle complex problems. You're basically creating the perfect runway for clear thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Okay, so enough with the theory. How do you actually do this stuff? How can designers use these ideas without it becoming, well, a total mess? So here are the tools in the toolkit. You'd start with your colors, right? Greens, blues, earthy tones. Then you use high-quality nature images strategically, not just as random decoration. You can add subtle textures, maybe like a hint of wood grain, and use open, clean layouts. And even tiny details matter, like using rounded corners instead of sharp, aggressive ones. It all adds up to that more organic, natural feel. But, and this is a huge but, there's a major trap here: going overboard. The whole point is for it to feel subtle, like it just belongs. Good biophilic design helps you focus on the content. Bad biophilic design just adds more visual noise, more clutter, and you end up doing the exact opposite of what you intended. Subtlety is absolutely key. So, okay, why does all this matter in the grand scheme of things? I mean, beyond just making one person's browsing experience a little nicer. Let's zoom out and look at what this means for businesses. Because the business results are very, very real. When people feel calm and focused on your site, guess what? They stick around longer. They engage more. And that, of course, can lead directly to better conversion rates. Plus, over time, it builds this perception of your brand as being more trustworthy and thoughtful, which is a huge way to stand out in a ridiculously crowded market. So really, what we're talking about here isn't just another design trend. It's a fundamental shift toward truly human-centered design. It's about finally admitting that the person on the other side of the screen isn't just a user or a data point. They're a biological being with a brain that was shaped by millennia of interacting with the natural world. Designing for that reality isn't just nice, it's smart. And I think that leaves us with a pretty powerful idea to chew on. As we're busy building these incredible, complex digital worlds inside our machines, maybe, just maybe, the best blueprints for how to do it right have been right outside our door this whole time.